No doubt. I know you're gonna be prepared for any situation.
Yeah, man.
And
I'm just stoked to do it. It's gonna be fun. Like, playing in Southern California, hip hop, snapback, throwback style. It's gonna be like, this is just gonna be fun, man. Are you playing too?
I am.
Okay,
I'll
dope.
be closing behind you. So.
Oh, perfect. So maybe we can do some back-to-back shit.
We can, yeah, definitely.
And I got my main man DJ ZTrip on the wheels of steel. And there's just something we got to know. Is it all about the music? Is it all about the DJ?
Welcome to the Snapback Chronicles, where we give you the backstage all-access pass to our events. And we're sitting here today with the one and only, the man, the legendary ZTrip.
All right,
what
man.
up, Z?
Good to see you.
All right, good to see you, man. Thank you for having us in your place where you store all your vinyl here.
Yeah, I bought all these records at your store.
Oh, man.
All of them.
All from stacks, huh?
Yeah, all of them.
All these stacks of stacks.
Yeah, man.
Man, thanks, Z, and thanks for having us.
Of course.
Z, we're excited to have you. We're really pumped to have you headline and kick off our Snapback OC on June 16th. What are the people coming to see? What are they looking forward to seeing with you on that night?
Well, I mean, for me, it's falling right in line with what you guys have been doing. I mean, and what we've been doing. Sort of, if you're in this culture and you collect records and you're a DJ, this is a party that you can do. You don't have to really like dig too deep into following trends or having to stay play a brand new current thing. You can actually go back into the crates and pull out BDP records and Public Enemy records and play tunes that people that they really connect with. And so for me, doing a little bit of that and a little bit of future sort of putting a future spin on those classics. And just kind of doing what I do and mixing things, acapellas, instrumentals,
Right.
Standard DJ fare, but like in a spot for people that love it and respect it and understand it and appreciate it. So
That's dope.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we started Snapback going on 6 years now over in North Hollywood on a Thursday night. We started by my man Stubbs, and it's been going on every week, every Thursday over there. We've been in Long Beach for about 5 years now. But we're now kicking off OC on a Saturday night, and like you've been like on the top of our wish list as well as Jazzy Jeff and a few others. That like it's an honor to finally have you come and rock with us, man.
I'm stoked to do it, man. I'm honored that it's an honor. I know it sounds redundant, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it because it's not just somebody going, hey, we want you to do this thing. There's a legacy, and it's with you guys. And the Beat Junkies are, there's a lot of family, a lot of connects. And the fact that it's taken us this long to do it is probably my fault because I've been running around doing a lot of touring and shit. But the fact that we can pull it off, I'm stoked, man. So,
Yeah.
Thank you for having me is really what I should be saying.
No, thanks. So yeah, Z, like we're sitting here with all your records. I know it took years and years and years to build this up, but like take us back into that time of like when you were first starting. Like what was it that what was the attraction? What drew you to becoming a DJ, and what got you to start collecting like this?
If I really take it back to the real origins, it was listening to I was born in New York, so growing up listening to mixes in New York, hearing Red Alert and Marley Marl and those guys, Mr. Magic, and listening to those guys DJ, also Stretch and Bobbito, Funk Flex, like there's, all the guys that you could hear on the radio at any given time around those earlier years. Hearing all the songs that these guys were playing and how they were mixing them had me fully intrigued. Like, what is that? What is that? I know that one. I don't know what that is. What is that sound? I've heard that sound in 4 other songs. Oh, that's a drum break. I don't know what that is. And later it's Funky Drummer. It's like, oh, later it's Apache. Oh, that's a James Brown thing. You start to piece it all together. So my ears were always open to, what is this amazing new thing? What is this sound of scratching? How are they doing it? I didn't really, I was younger coming up. So all the people that, all the parties that were going on in New York and everything, I was too young to get into, so I was always listening to mixtapes or listening to anything I could hear.
So yeah, your times of listening to New York radio, that kind of takes me back to listening to K-Day back in the day.
For sure, yeah.
So like, those early influences for me were like, Julio G, Tony G,
Right.
mix masters. At my junior high, it was Joe Cooley. Joe Cooley actually came out and DJ'd my junior high, and he was
Man,
passing
amazing.
out his record of Everlasting Bass.
Right. So that's how you got your copy.
That's how I got my copy.
That's how I got my copy of Dope Man.
Oh, really?
When I saw NWA in I was living in Arizona at the time, so I moved from New York to Arizona, but they played Celebrity Theater and they were throwing out copies of Boys in the Hood and Dope Man, and so I got a white label Dope Man. I was like, oh, and I was like, fucking, this is coming home with me. Like, fuck I'll kill a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I still got that. I think it's over there. That's the fucking. I'm looking right there. The Dope Man. Can you pull that record out right there?
Which one?
That one, right there. You get your fingers on it. The first one.
That's the one, huh?
Yeah, check this shit out. Look at this shit. Look how fucking chewed up this motherfucker is.
Damn.
There you go.
And it's even the white one. It's not the red.
Yeah, no,
not
this
the
is
red
it.
Ruthless.
87. That's the one.
You
On
talk
that
about
level.
Tiesto doing a stadium. You actually did a stadium way before Tiesto.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
I mean, what was that like, man? Like, being able to do a stadium, Rolling Stones, all that.
Yeah,
way back
well,
then.
that was, the thing is, I think at the time, that fucked me up too, because, it was 450,000 people.
450,000.
And opening for the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Rush, and that was in Toronto for SARS Stock. And they rolled me out there on this big fucking stage, and I'm on a fucking fold-out table with turntables and like a black drape, and it was like, there you go, dude. And I'm out there with records. It's sun's beating on me, and it was like, hey everybody, here's this DJ guy. I know you came to see Rush. I know you're in fucking Canada and Rush is playing, but here's this DJ guy. And it was rough because I didn't know what the fuck to expect, so it was tough, but I figured, what would I want to listen to if I wanted to see Rush?
Right.
I grew up on rock records as well, so I was like, let me play some records that show them that I'm one of you. So let's get that out of the way.
Right.
Got him to go, okay, this dude's, I'll fuck with this guy. Oh, he's scratching it up? That's, never heard it like that. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But let me stack 4 or 5 big tunes, and you go, oh shit. And then, let me show you what else I can do. So all of a sudden, I got them on my side. Once I had them on my side, it was a wrap. But it was like, you have to sort of, in any scenario, you'd have to figure out, how do I fucking rise above this? And like, in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me was the only reason I knew how to do that was from being in many, many, many different parties over the years through hip hop being my filter.
Was that your most memorable gig, or do you have another one that tops that experience?
So like I looked at the first time I played Coachella, I think it was like the second Coachella.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Oakenfold had posted it, and I looked at the lineup, and it was like, and I was on there, and I'm like, that was my first Coachella. And I'd played Coachella 4 times, you know what I mean? And some of my, like, bringing Beck out, bringing Chester out during my sets, and, being name-checked by Frank Ocean in one of his songs about, Coachella, but all of that, not as, whoa, holy shit, first time I played, it was such a small thing. Like, those kinds of things are the things I'm starting to revel in now a little bit more, because at the time, you're just doing what you're doing. And when you sort of have this big, long trajectory and you look back, you start to see these little sort of granules that turned into what they are now.
Real quick before we end, we definitely got to ask, like, how did the whole relationship with you and LL Cool J come about?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I had asked if he wanted to be a guest one of my sets for Red Bull for South by Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, he said yes. And I was like, oh, this is going to happen. So, we got together the night before and rehearsed Mama Said Knock You Out a few times. And I was like, we were only really scheduled to do one track, but going into the rehearsal, I was like, what if people ask us to do more stuff? I got to have a few more tracks of his on hand in case we go there. And I know from being a DJ that obviously Rock the Bells is the one I was like, we got
Yeah.
right. If we don't play Rock the Bells and people want it, like, we can't just be up there like, you know, let me just have it in the crate. If he's up for it, let's see what we can do. And the night before, I was like, there's no instrumental. I'm like, wait, what is Rock the Bells? It's like an 808. It's this treble funk sample, and it's the guitar stab, AC/DC stab, and I'm like, I got an 808. I got those. I was like, hang on, I think I can remake this. So I show up to the rehearsal, and didn't tell him that I had the instrumental. We ran through Mama Said Knock You Out a few times, and we had a little extra time, and I was like, yo, could we try doing Rock the Bells? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So we launched into it, and I played the instrumental, and he started rapping to it, and he's like, where'd you get this? I'm like, I made it. And he's like, you know, I just don't think that he was expecting me to come with that, but
Yeah.
I was like, look, I'm a purist, man. You know, as a fan, it's always tough to see MCs rapping to their own lyrics, and you know, I understand a lot of MCs sometimes don't have their instrumentals, so they just got to rap with whatever they got. But I was like,
Right.
for me, if we could do this and we could do it over an instrumental, like, I would love to do that. And he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. So we ended up doing that. We ended up doing a thing with I Need Love, this other sort of version of it that was really sort of specific for South by, and we went out there and fucking murdered it, man.
With your love and your passion for the music and performance and your collaboration, just you working with LL, period, is there any like things that you've picked up on, or just things that you see in his work ethic, or the things that you've learned that you've been able to apply to yourself? Or
Let's just say, I'll say this. There's a million things, but the one thing I will say is, I mean, you knew me prior to meeting with him, and I thought I worked hard. This guy works harder than anyone I've ever seen. So I thought I had a great work ethic, which I still think I do, but he only made that better. You know what I mean? He you know, the amount of work that dude puts in, you know, TV shows, music, family, you know, humanitarian. He's like all these different levels, and just to sit back and watch his work ethic and his momentum. You know what I mean? It's been truly humbling to be able to, you know, be a part of it and witness it, and also help push things and be a part of moving it forward. You know what I mean?
to wrap up with our interview here, if there's any, I guess, thing that you can share with like the young up and coming generation, or anything that you can share that would help that younger person do the best they can do, or whatever, what piece of advice would you give them in terms of you know, making it in this music thing?
I think too many people are trying to sound like everybody else because, oh, hey, that's making noise or that's making money, so let me try my hardest to emulate that or follow suit. And while that's okay to do, I think the people who stand out and take risks and find their own path are usually the ones who end up having a sense of longevity, because they end up finding an audience that is also looking for something that is not middle of the road. So, but then there's also a level of, you know, with finding your own sound, you have to be dedicated enough to know that it's not going to happen overnight. Know that you're going to have to put in a lot of work, and you're going to have to miss a lot of birthdays, and, you know, have upset girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever you're going to be upsetting some people because you're going to be going after this thing. But if it matters to you enough, you know, you got to follow through on that. It's interesting. A lot of people are like, you know, DJing's in a you know, weird place. You know, and while there's some level to that, I also think that we're also in an amazing place right now. Like,
Right.
you know, the mere fact that I don't have to carry all these records around, you know what I mean? That's incredible. Having the technology and have the ability to weave together songs, you know, in ways that we couldn't do in the past. I feel like it's constantly evolving, and being able to see things like we're talking about the you know, Jeff and those guys at the Soundset thing. It's like we just saw that a couple days ago. We can talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? There's so and we could go back and see it right now. Let's go reference it. Boom, we pull it up instantly. Like, these are things
we
that
didn't have that.
We had none of that shit. So to be able to have all this stuff at our fingertips and be able to be adding to that and building towards that and morphing in certain ways, it's an amazing time, man. You know,
it is.
And I'm really happy that I was able to make the transition from, you know, a guy who was just buying extended 12 inches to like being able to add to the, you know, to the lexicon in some capacity. It's amazing, man. Yeah. I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm stoked that I'm able to do that. I'm humbled by it.
Man. Well, we're humbled by you giving us this interview,
man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
you guys
for coming out.
have been checking out the Snapback Chronicles. My man ZTrip, check him out. June 16th, Saturday, Snapback at NVOC. Well, like your
all right,
story.
great. That was a good interview. All right. I did it all. I did it all in one shot.
Is it all about the music? Is it all about the DJ? Is it all about the MC? It's all about the back. We feel it's a must. To the days of Fantastic Five and Cold Crush. Battle after battle of beef from the street. Crowd that y'all bringing, so we bought the beef. DJs cutting MCs at the